Tiffany, for coming here to share about your journey. So I heard that Tiffany, you did very well for your PSLE. Mummy, before that, when you came to Body Inc., you were quite concerned about her condition.
She had been on Singulair for 2 years because previously she was diagnosed with asthma. It helped with her asthma, so we felt that it got better. But along the way, we found that there were a lot of health issues that started coming up. Like we found that she was moody, she was easily anxious, and she had very bad digestive system. Almost everything she ate, she would have very bad tummy ache. It's not just those simple tummy ache that went away. So she'll be like groaning in pain. She will always forget a lot of things, and she will cry very easily.
About how long after taking the medicine that she started to have these symptoms?
Started taking around July of that year, so I think half a year later, in
That
December.
2018.
Then she started developing rashes as well. That was when rashes started coming up. But it was just little bit by little bit. Yeah, so it's not like all the symptoms came out at the same time. But it just got worse over time. And we didn't know what was wrong. And then we brought her to see the dermatologist. We went back for regular reviews. Nothing was wrong. And so we continued. And in fact, I thought Singulair was really what was important for her, and I even supervised her every night. I'll make sure she take all her medication before she slept. We used to take a lot of medication as well for those like antibiotics and paracetamol or antihistamines. So she took like almost everything that I could think of that would be prescribed for a child. Until one day in May last year, we saw your post that mentioned about, I think, a report from the US.
Yes.
About the danger of Singulair, that it actually causes depression. So I was stunned, and I went to read out more, so I went to do more research, and this time I googled symptoms of Singulair, what are the side effects, and I read, and I was so shocked because it matches the symptom perfectly. After reading Auntie Jesslyn's post, I decided to stop Singulair. I decided to seek a second opinion. So this time I brought her to a second specialist, but who specializes in children. So she also felt that she had been on Singulair for too long, and she was telling us that actually she had seen other children as displaying such symptoms after taking Singulair, but they were on it for only for a short period of time.
Yeah, she had hallucination as well. I remember the first time. The first time I saw Tiffany, she was actually like not there. And she was, relating to me some strange stories.
Actually, I remember them very vividly, like hallucinations and so on, or kind of like only manifested only after we stopped Singulair. So I think later I realized this is called Singulair Withdrawal syndrome. Yeah, I was really desperate, so I brought her back to the specialist. So the behavior she displayed at the clinic caused them to be really worried. She will start talking to herself, and she was just so abnormal that the doctor thought she might have a brain tumor. So seeing her, she was really suffering so much, and as a mom, I think it was very painful. After she was discharged from hospital, she came home, she was hallucinating so much. She was always telling me that somebody's behind her, somebody's trying to harm her. She would say there's a voice in her head asking her to shove a knife down her throat. But even while sleeping with her, she would say that I'm pinching her, I'm hitting her, I'm climbing up the walls, climbing up the shelves. I wasn't doing any of those things. And when she went to school, she would be constantly crying as well. She was always telling the teachers, like, the eye hand in this, the eye hand in that. And even walking along the corridors, she'll say there's a voice that tells her to jump down. So there was a very wonderful friend of her, Tamara, that would look after her for like a good 2-3 months. Literally to the extent that she goes to the toilet, her classmate will follow. She was just so fearful. She was just not herself.
How long was it that she was experiencing all these symptoms?
I think before we saw you, I think a good 3 weeks. During that time, we also did all kinds of scans in the hospital, including the brain scan and so on. So everything was fine. She was actually physically nothing wrong. And so that was when I was really, really desperate, and I just felt that you were the only one who could help her. So I came to you. But all those symptoms intensified during the Singulair Withdrawal syndrome period. So, and when you told us to start her on food therapy, we started on that. And in the initial part, it was really a struggle, but you did tell us that when the body started to detox there will be a struggle.
Yeah.
But I
What
think you gave me
happened?
hope.
What happened actually?
All her psychiatric symptoms intensified. She went to the stage where I would say it's hysterical. So she would like, the sound of us cutting some ingredients in the kitchen will trigger her. She would say,
Go into the kitchen.
yeah, she would not stand in the kitchen. She could not stand the sight of a knife. I think you told us the first 5 days would be really hard.
Yeah.
And it was really, really very hard. But I think you also told us that besides physical, food therapy, you also have to give her emotional support. So that was something we bear in mind. But I held on to the hope that, I think one thing you said to me during that first session was that children, it has the ability to heal because they are still young and the system are still working very well.
Yes.
And you were telling me that our body has the ability to heal naturally.
In fact, so many of us, we have forgotten that we have got a powerful immune system. Immune system is there to protect us, and we, as long as we don't keep dumping, drugs and toxins into the body, actually our ability to heal, it's amazing. Especially for children because they are still developing, they are still young, the cells can still regenerate. As compared to older people, maybe they don't see the results so fast. But for her, I remember it was quite fast.
Yes.
1 month, and then she started to see improvement drastically.
I think we started on food therapy for about 2 weeks, and then she improved a tiny bit, but not to that extent. And her rashes was still very bad. So it was.
Yeah, I remember the back.
Yes.
Your back was full of rashes.
It subsided a tiny bit, but still not enough. That was when I told my husband, I said, the fact that the food therapy had helped us to see some improvement means we are on the right path. So I said, we must persevere. And I said, I really, really needed Jaslyn. And that was when I went back to your staff. And during the second session, I think you reviewed her conditions. I think there was just so much toxins in her.
I need to
that's
use
gone to organs.
Supplements,
Yeah, that was when actually we saw the healing really speeding up a lot. And at that time, actually, before we started on the supplements, I was even planning to write into the principal because October was end of the year exam. I was planning to get her exempted from exams because there was no way she could take exams at that stage. She was just always crying, even doing a simple piece of homework.
She couldn't even focus, right? You were
She
telling
couldn't
me.
focus in class, and she could not remember anything that the teacher was teaching. And even doing a simple piece of homework, just like 1 page would take 4 hours. Because she would do one question, then she would cry, and she would go into a meltdown. So I was just thinking, there's no way she could take her exam, and that was like primary 5 exam. So mid-September we started on the supplements, and I started seeing improvements. So I could leave her for a longer period of time by herself. She still had all those symptoms, but it was like a lot more manageable. So by the end of October, she was almost back to her original self. I think that was when she had another review with you, and I think you spoke to her, and she was starting to be cheerful.
Very different.
Yeah, so different. Even the teachers told me that she was improving. So they thought she was on some psychiatric medication. I said, no, she was just on natural healing. But they found it unbelievable. And then by early November, she got back her report book, and it was so stunning because it was like one of her best results. And almost every subject was like in their 90s. So I was like, because she was telling me that, I could remember what I learned.
Now her brain is,
Yes,
brain fog is gone.
You were telling me that when she kept forgetting things, because she would forget everything.
It cannot
before
be.
she took.
I was telling you, for children, it cannot be. They cannot be forgetting things because they are born, they are still very young. How can they be like old people forgetting things? There must be something that's blocking. Yeah.
That was when you told me brain fog, that was something new to me. I did not think of that at all. I did not think that children will get brain fog.
Yeah, I understand.
And when you told me that medications that is taken wrongly and over a long period of time, it can actually generate some neurotoxins and cause brain fog.
Well, you remember.
Yes, but because that really stuck with me. So she took just for about 1 month, and she could take her exam, and she told me she could remember like everything that she studied. And by December, she was like totally back to herself.
Before that, actually, she was actually not behaving like this. Yeah?
No, she wasn't. Actually, before she started on Singulair, she was quite a happy child. So she was quite chubby and she was very happy. So after she started Singulair, we noticed the behavioral change, but we couldn't pin it down to anything. So we just thought maybe it's just part of growing up.
I remember you came to me during the COVID.
Yeah, that's right. But I say after the Singulair experience, I don't want to take any more medication unnecessarily. My husband wasn't very supportive, but he said he will try, to let me go down that path. So
Can't really say no to the wine.
That's quite cute.
he told us just a few simple things, which was to go on a clean diet.
No dairy, no nuts, no sugar, no yeast.
Wow, our top 5 food to avoid. You got it all right.
Yeah, she memorized that. So although it sounded simple, but of course in terms of applying it to our life, really required us to totally change our diet and things that we thought were alright, because we ate very healthily, but we didn't even realize that simple things like gluten, yeast, they are harmful for health.
And dairy?
And dairy. Actually, dairy we didn't take so much because she has always been dairy lactose intolerant.
I see.
Yeah, so we didn't take much of that. But what surprised me was actually gluten and yeast and nuts. I was always told that nuts are actually healthy.
Right?
That's why in the house you had this giant jar of nuts.
Yes, we used to buy like giant jars of nuts, and I'll give her like nuts, and we put we cook a lot of pesto with nuts, making the pesto paste. In fact, bread was like one of our staple, and we ate a lot of pasta, which is also gluten.
Yeah.
So when we had gone on this natural healing, we were pretty lost. We had to totally reinvent our entire household's menu. But the most difficult part I think for my husband was he has to also stop his medication. So I said, let's all stop together. So in fact,
What medication was he on?
he was also on Singulair.
Okay.
He also had asthma, and so he was worried about stopping Singulair.
And the
But I
side
said-
effects, is it?
And the side effects, why he went back to being asthmatic again. I said, let's go down this path with her, let's journey with her, so that she will know that she's not alone, but we're with her.
That's
so
nice.
I said, we all stop medication together, and so Daddy stopped Singulair, and then you introduce us to your natural supplements, and it's been really life-saving. Because we never imagined that we could just survive on those few bottles of natural supplements. So whenever she had a bit of like cough or like a tiny bit of runny nose, I will give her immunity. I think I was really grateful because you started in a small way first. You allow her to go on not just pure celery juice, just to see whether it clears up. And so you did not just jump straight into the supplements. You wanted to see whether just the natural food could clear it.
I wanted to do food therapy for her first because I think it's very, very important. So this is actually now what we have implemented in Body Inc. The parents have to agree they are able to change the diet for the kids. If not, we will not take them in. Yeah, they cannot just buy the supplements and then thinking that there's some magic pill without changing the diet, because in the end, actually food is your medicine. So if you have taken, healthy food, clean food, non-processed food, basically that is the nutrients to the body, and then that supports the immune system. Yeah, and then we use supplements to support. Because in Singapore, I think a lot of people have this kind of mindset that, if I am experiencing a headache, a pain here, fainting spells or whatever, I just pop medicine or pop supplements, but they have not gone into what have gone wrong in your daily diet and daily walk. Maybe you never sleep, that's why you have headache, things like that. When I first saw Tiffany, that was a time that I thought I really want to help her. I remember when I first saw you, you were teary also, because I can imagine as a mother, your mommy loves you so much, she did so much for you.
Don't make me cry.
Okay, sorry. I was actually very touched by your determination to help your daughter. So I was thinking like, okay, let's journey together. And then day and night I was thinking how to help her in terms of detox. From the diet, we started with just going purely into vegetable juices and then eating really good healthy food for the body to build up the gut. Yeah, it would be a journey, you know, half a year, 1 year, some people even 2 years, because since young she already had all these issues and taking a lot of medication. Usually, if it is a childhood issue, that means since very, very young, they already had asthma, sinus, eczema, all the autoimmune, or there's a family history. That means that somehow they have inherited some either virus, bacteria, toxins, you know, and then for us to detox, we really need at least half a year to 1 year, some even 2 years, to see a very good result. So you can see that after maybe 1 year plus, she's still having some, you know, rashes here and there. It will still take time, but eventually she will be good.
Actually, the interesting thing was throughout this whole journey, our original plan, because when we first all started on this natural healing and we changed our diet, actually we didn't quite like the food. We were just saying, okay, we'll just go for the minimum required. So Jasmine said 6 months. So we said, so our original target was just 6 months, and we planned to stop that diet, you know. So initially we didn't like the food. No, the body didn't find it appetizing.
Bland.
Yeah, that's right. But along the way, by about like the 3rd month, we start to find the food that we used to like. Disgusting. She used to like chicken rice a lot.
Because you don't feel very good, right? Because the healthy food gives you energy and clarity in the mind. But when you eat all this junk food, you just don't feel very good and be sluggish, right?
Yeah, surprisingly, especially my 2 girls, my elder daughter and Tiffany, when they see food that are so-called in the forbidden list, they started feeling like nauseous. They say, oh, the body starts to reject it. Yeah, so we say, okay, let's do it for longer. Let's go for 1 year instead. That will be August this year.
So the whole family, including your husband, also changed the diet and stopped all the medicine?
Yes, at first it was like a chore, but actually now it becomes part of our life. Yeah, so every morning we will actually prepare our own breakfast. So it could be rice and with some cucumber, some gluten-free pancakes. But of course we're very blessed because she's also very good at cooking and baking, so she helped us with some of those breakfast recipes. Like she invented the gluten-free pancakes for me to cook for her.
That's amazing! I know that you are actually, you know, very much into baking. Either one of you were asking me if now she cannot take cakes and all this stuff, but she loves to bake, then how? And then I was telling you that you can actually change the flour and then use all the other ingredients. So after that, can you maybe share with us how did you change your recipe and the ingredients?
We use brown sugar, but the brown sugar was still processed.
It's still processed, but it's a better version of a healthier version of the cake.
Now we don't use brown sugar.
What do you use?
Coconut sugar.
Okay. I think some of my clients, would love to hear that because they also still want to eat some cakes, but the healthier version.
I think when I first wanted to try to reinvent the recipe, because I said, can I still eat the things I bake? Then you said, only if you change the recipe.
So I know that Tiffany is actually preparing her book. It's amazing for a 12-year-old to have a book coming up, yeah? So it is about recipe for baking.
Because I felt that everybody else is probably struggling with their food also. So if there's a book about it, then everybody can also eat well on the diet.
Great. Actually, I'm one of them. I'm really looking forward because for many, many years, actually, I couldn't eat cake. Once I eat cake, I can have a bit of rashes. So, but I eat yours, I have no problem. Any words that you want to share with us and all the children who maybe they are suffering also from certain rashes, certain conditions?
If you want to do something, even if it's hard, you need to keep trying, even if it's for a few years.
Thank you. So maybe you want to share with us what you want to tell parents about health.
The health of our children is just everything to a mom. So I just feel that it's actually not as hard as I thought it would be. Natural healing and the path on clean eating. So actually, after we got the hang of it, it's actually very simple. And realized that actually it doesn't take a lot to heal our body. Actually, the body has so much potential to self-heal, and you find that when your children is happy and they learn well and they can maximize their potentials, that's actually the best reward for any mother. And I just feel that this 1 whole year of journey of clean eating has been so rewarding that it's because just part of our family life, and we could not imagine ourselves going back to our previous states again. So I just feel it's been nothing short of a miracle. I realized that there are different grades of supplements as well. That actually herbs has so much healing power.
Yeah.
So I actually am very surprised because sometimes when it's a bit of like a sore throat, even just taking immunity actually clear it after maybe 2-3 doses. And the rest of the family started to be converted. And now they will also reach out for this natural supplements. So of course, it's not just enough to rely on supplements, and it's also what we eat every day.
Yes.
So we just continue with the diet that you designed for us since the last year, and it has served us well. We just actually start to enjoy what we ate.
So I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. Actually, another plus point was surprisingly the adults lost weight. So we went back to our ideal weight.
I gained weight.
Yeah, she
You
gained
should.
weight.
If you're underweight, you will gain weight. If you're overweight, you will lose weight. Because this is how natural therapy is.
Yeah, actually it was amazing because I used to have very high concentration of fat in my blood as well. So actually only just half a year after going on the same diet with her and stopping all medications, I did my health screening. So the doctor was so surprised because the fat level in my blood dropped by more than 50%. So she was saying that it was either I did very strenuous exercise or I did a complete change in my diet. So I said it was the second one. I went on a complete change of my diet. And she said whatever you were doing must be the correct thing, just continue with it. I think most importantly also is that I feel that natural healing, the effects last. In fact, we don't find ourselves rebound back to the previous states again. Sometimes once in a while maybe we need to go out and eat, but we don't find ourselves gaining back the weight again.
Yeah, because your body now is able to detox very efficiently, and that's how the body should be. It's very encouraging that your whole family can work together and support each other, and then you get well and get healthier together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us.